All right, hey guys, what's going on? My name's Chris Huckes. This is your best life defined. Ooh, getting kind of excited. We're kind of starting to get settled in where we're at, and we got to go on a hike. I mentioned it in the last podcast, but I wanted to kind of jump on this thing because it was actually cool as hell to be out there. And I think the most amazing part about actually being out in nature, where you don't have a bunch of distractions, is that it allows you to actually reconnect with who you are, right? It allows you to connect with nature and to think about your life. And the big thing for me is, I mean, we're standing out in the middle of the mountains, a bunch of sagebrush and cactus and amazing rocks, and you realize how insignificant you are. That's one of the first things I realized, is that, when you look at like the animal kingdom, we've seen some cat tracks and deer. One time we got to see a bear. He was running off. That was the only actual sighting since we've been hiking in our entire lives. It's one bear. But the other thing that being out there does is, me and Sandy were walking around at a nice steady pace, kicking rocks and looking for little jewels that the world creates. They're just laying around on the ground. It's amazing how much time you have to think, how clear your thinking can become when you don't have that noise. I sit here and I spend a lot of time talking to you about your life, right? Talking about, okay, how to live your best life. And I'm trying to figure out, well, why aren't they getting it? Why is it that I keep saying this thing and talking about this thing, but people are having so much trouble understanding it? And then it dawned on me. I was out there kicking rocks, looking around at the sky, taking pictures, and just enjoying everything about the day. And I realized, how much time do most people have to think about them? And I thought, damn, there it is. Maybe that's why. So coming at this thing from another angle, let's talk about this a little bit. I've seen a lot of growth in my life. I've learned a lot of things since I retired. And one of the most amazing things that I came to realize once I retired was how weird it is to have so much time to spend thinking about my life and planning out strategies based on what I enjoy. And then the other thing is evaluating, constantly doing that look back to see, okay, is this working for us? And what it's created for us is this amazing combination of choices that give us access to nearly anything we would want to do. And while this evolved for 10 years prior to us actually hitting the road, or maybe 7 years prior to us actually moving into a fifth wheel, selling all of our stuff, and hitting the road and starting to travel full time, it never got as clear until we actually spent that time on a regular basis. I think that's why when I look back, I talk about, when it comes to relationships, I've always mentioned that walking is one of the best things you can do for your relationship. Well, when I stopped working 2 jobs and our kids were about out of the house, Sandy and I decided to reconnect. And one of the ways we did that was hiking and walking. We spent a lot of time, probably 6 days a week we would walk. And we would usually walk 6 or more miles at a time. So that is a lot of time to hang out, getting to know your partner, right? But more than that, that is a lot of time for you to throw ideas back and forth about what your life should look like. Not what it is looking like. And more than that, what would you like to spend the rest of your life doing? What things are you so interested in doing that you're willing to take action every day towards achieving that? That's how we got here. That's how I managed to sit in this chair every day and say, hey guys, what's up? My name's Chris Huckes, blah, blah, blah. Had time to think about it. Had time to think about, okay, what is my skill? What can I do? What can I bring to the table that the world can use? And what can I do to help them capture more of what Sandy and I have been able to do ourselves? RV life, is it perfect? Hell no, it's not perfect. But the perfect part is that we're actually planning next winter in Florida, and we're looking at our options. The perfect is for me to be in an RV park where I can take my kayak from underneath my RV and drag it into the water and go kayaking. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the ocean. If we can get both of those without breaking the bank, I am all for it. But it's only by having time to think about what I enjoy and what I would like to spend my time in Florida doing that I can say that. So let's bring it to you. This is really all about you. So let's go ahead and talk about you and where you're at in this. No time to think. No time to think. Can you imagine that you're so busy? And the phone, I tell you, the phone is like this pocket billboard. So it's crazy how much time we don't spend looking up now. People, the whole world is passing by, and we have our faces buried in our phone. And that phone's feeding us ideas quicker than we can take them in, quicker than we can even digest them. In fact, a small percentage of those ideas even sink in. It's just noise. It's like this shower just getting blasted in the face with a fire hose of information. That's what your phone represents. And then we wonder, well, why can't we get anything? Why can't we achieve our goals? Well, how much time during the average day do you spend analyzing where you are now, where you would like to be, and the steps that you need to take to get there? They should be able to track. There should be a tracker. Every time you think about you, make a point of remembering that. When you think about, okay, and I'm not just talking about the I'm gonnas, okay, because this is where everybody gets off track. People seem to think because they say I'm gonna that it'll happen. Sorry, doesn't work that way. I'm gonna is a precursor to satisfy your need to actually take action without actually doing it, right? I'm gonna. That's the stuff you say at parties when you're feeling a little inadequate because you've actually been sitting around drinking too much beer. You put on some weight and the guy next to you looks like Nautilus, right? You're like, well, yeah, I'm going to start working. That was my New Year's resolution, start working out. I'm gonna. The reason that you're probably not going to do that is because you haven't had time to even think about what that's supposed to look like. The gym isn't for everybody. Mountain biking isn't for everybody. I have yet to play bocce ball. Not my game. Don't like boxing. Ever since the advent of MMA fighting, have no interest in watching a boxing match. You know why I know that? Had time to think about it. That's the reason we're being able to be so successful where we are right now. Living debt free. Have the opportunity to live anywhere in the country, world. Actually, technically, if we wanted to, we could live anywhere in the world right now. Now, I wouldn't live long term, but we could stay in Italy for a month. That's within the realm of our choices. It's only because we decided to take a look at our life and say, okay, this is what we want our life to look like. You agree? My wife said, yeah, that's what I want it to look like. Okay, then this is what we have to do to get there. And the only way you do that is to have time to think. To have time to think about you. To have time to think about your life with the people you love. About what you're going to learn. What can you improve in your life? That's what living your best life is all about. I don't know. Keep working. It works for me, and that's the cool part about it, is it works. And the reality is if you start with an I'm gonna, you better start with an I'm gonna that's connected to who you are. That's the other big battle we face, is that's that fire hose of information we look at every time we turn our phone on. There's none of that has anything to do with making your life better. Well, actually, that's a mistake. There is a lot of it, but weeding it out. I'm hooked on YouTube videos about the Kalahari Desert and the lions and how just amazingly brutal the animal kingdom is. But it's a waste of time. And if I don't regroup and say, okay, I understand that, but this is what I need to do because this is where I want my life to be, it's easy for me to get off track. And I spend a good portion of my day thinking about my choices and directions and where I can go and what I can improve to actually be able to live more of this life that I'm living. Cool as hell. Cool as hell because it works. So here's your plan. Here's one idea for you. Set aside a half hour every day for you. I suggest you don't even start with your partner or anyone else. Start with you. Every day for a half hour, you shut all the noise off. You clear your mind and you think about you. You think about who you've become. You think about where you are. And then you think about where you can go. What thing you can do that will make you say, hell yeah. What thing can you choose to do that will energize you so even when it sucks, so even when you're like, oh, this sucks, you still do it. Every day, do something towards it. Eventually, you're going to think about that thing more and more. As that thing becomes more connected to who you are and is more honed to the point it is a true selection of who you are, comes from who you are, you're going to think about that thing more and more. And you're not going to have to set aside time to think about it because you're going to be doing your mundane life, going through your mundane, grinding list of obligations, and that thing is going to pop into your head. And with that thing is going to be created this story around how cool it is, how great it is, how close, how you can actually do it, how you can actually believe, you can start believing that you can do it. And before you know it, guess what? Bam! I didn't want to be a nice guy. I was angry, pissed off. I like being pissed off and angry. It was safe. Safe because no one hurts you when you're angry. You can't get hurt. Got shield on. Yeah, get out of my way. I hate you, right? It was hard at first, but then I started thinking, man, look how nice people are when I'm nice to them. That was the thing. The moment in my life, that moment in my life when I realized that I was on the right track was when, amid my early days of transition to who I've become, because I'm definitely not the same person as I used to be, is when I responded in a kind and empathetic way to my wife, and it freaked her out. Not that I was a terrible person. I mean, I was a good husband, but I just didn't ever show my true feelings, and you certainly weren't going to get to see my soft side, right? How did I get there? I had to spend time thinking about the ugly person I'd become. I had to spend time thinking about how I felt, how it actually felt to be so angry. To be angry at everything, to be angry at myself, to not feel good enough. It's waiting for you, guys. It's waiting for you. It's right there. It's right there, and it comes with you stepping back from all the noise long enough to sit in the silence and not be afraid to be alone with yourself, with your thoughts. Committed with one goal, with one single goal in mind, and that is to wake up and be able to say, damn, look what I created. Or in my case, look what we created. As a parent, I have amazing children, and I'm thinking, wow, if I can do that, what can't we do? What thing can't we accomplish in our life? But you got to shut the noise off. You have to shut the noise off long enough for you to get involved in who you are and who you want to be, to spend time thinking about you so that you can get better acquainted with all your own possibilities, all the possibilities that you create. Just talking, I'm just one guy making a bunch of noise here. I have a dream. It's a simple dream. It is for me to leave this world knowing that I've had an impact on your life. To leave this world knowing that, you know what, he's a dork, he's done a lot of crazy stuff, but in the end, the stuff he says makes sense. To hear someone say, hey, dude, I really appreciate it. I like it. I think you're on to something. I'm trying some of this stuff and it's working. Take some time. Think about who you are. Think about who you've become. And more importantly than that, think about where you want to be. And I guarantee if you spend enough time thinking about it, before you know it, you're going to take action and you're going to be there. I promise. I won't lie. I'm not lying on that. Try it, do it, and then get back with me on it. Until next time, just remember the kindness and consideration. Look at people with empathy and care. And as always, just remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.